Okay, well, this has been an adventure because I have been putting off this video for a little while, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I finally decided I need to film it. And so I'm like, cleaning up my eyebrows and, um, just getting ready. And I found a little hair on the side of my ear because, I'm in my 40s. So I got my little dermaplane blade and I went to get it and I nicked my ear, and I nicked it in such a weird way that it's a tiny little nick, but it's taken forever to get it to stop bleeding. So we're just gonna kind of angle like this, and you're gonna pretend to not notice if my ear falls off. You probably wouldn't have even noticed it if I didn't say anything, but that's okay. So why have I been putting it off? Well, I'm one of those people who typically thinks when people do a Sephora haul or a Ulta haul or Nordstrom sale haul, that I like to watch those videos because I like to learn about the products. But typically the products are a little bit older. There's already been 300 reviews on them. And typically it just comes across as kind of gross, because you're showing off a lot of money spent. And so I've never really done them in the past, even though I do use the Sephora sale to pick up some things. Things like where I've maybe picked up one before and I really liked it, so I pick up a few more colors or colorways during the sale. Or I find something that I like and I'm like, I'm just going to wait for the sale for that. And so I thought, well, there would be some benefit in doing that. So we're going to have kind of a hodgepodge of things going on today because I have a lot of new products to show you. New to me, not all of them are brand new. There's probably been 500 reviews already out there, but I figure maybe you tune in because you like me. I don't know. But what we can do today is look at some of the new products that I picked up and put them on and swatch them with their their competitors or their closest colors and see what works. So it's a Sephora haul with an asterisk. If that sounds good to you, then like, subscribe, follow along, shop my links. I may need it to help pay for my ear. Let's go. So one thing I always pick up during the Sephora sale is, well, sometimes I pick up fragrance. I didn't pick up any fragrance this time, but I do pick up little things that you wouldn't necessarily think of, like the EyeShadow cotton squares or the makeup remover, the Micellar Milk makeup remover from Sephora. And so I just refill those things during the sale and it works out really well. And then what else did I get that I'm not going to put on for you? Okay, so I feel guilty about this one, but please note that I did use my gift certificate from Sephora because I have heard about this for a while, but I was like, I'm not spending $100 on this. But I've been having a lot of dryness and little wrinkles and and dry skin and all that. And a number of people have recommended to me this Avele Royal Serum Water from Guerlain. It's a what's it called? Serum Youth Water Oil, and you have to shake it up because it has little gold beads in it. But you just take a tiny amount and put it on before you put on your skincare. So on a clean face, just put on a tiny amount, and then you do your skincare. And in the few days I've used it, I've really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what I enjoy the most about it is that it feels like nothing. It's like putting water on your face, which is good and bad, I guess. But I have noticed some of the dryness has gone away. So I'll keep reporting on that one. Everything else I got during this sale was beauty. So let's look at that. Okay, so the first two things I got are not new. Well, they are new. They came out pre-spring. But they are two more of the Dior Canage palettes. I picked up the blue one. I am not a fan of Dior eyeshadows for the most part. And I even swatched the new summer Jonathan Anderson inspired collection, and it didn't swatch very well for me. It was just very light, very little color. But earlier this year in the pre-spring collection, they came out with these Canage palettes, and you can tell because they have this pattern on them. These are very different. Like, these are highly pigmented, really beautiful, interesting color stories. And I picked up the blue one. I showed that earlier this year, and I really liked it. So I went ahead and picked up 2 others. There was also a lavender one that I wasn't that big a fan of, so I did not pick that one up. But the 2 that I did pick up are, this one is Rose Moray, which is the rosy pink kind of color story. Although it does have some duochromes in it, which is really cool. And the other one I picked up is Brown Broquette, I guess is what it's called. And this one, it looks very boring, but this middle color is really cool, multi-chrome. So I figure what we can do today, it might look a little crazy, but we're going to try on as much as we can, is throw one on each eye. I've already done my base, so I didn't get any base products, so there was no reason to film that part. And, you know, it was when my ear was falling off, so do with that as you may. It does not look to be falling off right now, so that's good. Okay, so let's take a look at, which one do we want to do first? Let's do Rose Moray first. And so I'm going to pull you in a little closer. No! And you can ignore the laundry back there because today is laundry day. Okay, so on a Rever 14, I'm going to grab there's only one matte in here, back here, and it's not particularly dark, so I don't think you're going to get a very deep look with this. But I'm going to grab this matte. I guess this would be shade number 5. They're powdery, but they're not nearly as bad as a normal Dior palette. I don't know why they don't do all their palettes like this in this formula, but I'm glad they don't, because then I don't have to buy them. But look at that. That has a lot of pigment right off the bat. And that's just not something you get with Dior normally. They normally have very light pigment, and they're kind of hard to build up because they're so light. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more of that in the corner since it is the only matte. Maybe I wish that this one had a slightly darker matte. Or what I would use maybe is like a liner and just smoke it out there in the corner. But it's fine. This is a beautiful color. I'll just run a little of that under there. Okay. Yeah, I probably would use like a liner just to get a little bit of depth, but I can always go back in and do that when it's done. Now on this one, we have 4 metallic-y, duochromy kind of shades. So I'll show you these on the back of my hand. It's a pretty color story. I think this one here, which... is that the middle one? No, I think this is the middle one. This is the darkest. I think this might be the winner of the most impact from this. In fact, let me do the matte with it first for you too, so you can see how they all look together. So there's with the matte. I think I'm going to stick maybe with this one. These 2 are real pretty. Maybe keep these more as toppers and inner corner. Okay, so... let's go ahead and on a Rever 21, which I'm going to wet because I want a lot of impact here. I'm going to grab shade number 4 from this palette, which is, I hate those little things. I'm going to grab shade number 4 from this palette, which is the one down here. And I want high impact. That's why I'm using a wet brush. And you can see they have a good amount of impact. From my understanding, they came out with these last year too, but they only do them like once a year. I don't know why. They're so beautiful. Now, typically I would not use every color in the palette, but I'm just going to do it today just to kind of show you. So what I'll do in the center here, is shade number 1, which is this more smoky purple color. Okay, that one's a little tamer. But beautiful. I probably should have reversed those and put the shinier one, but it's not really going to matter because this palette also has a topper in it. So I'll put that on over the top of the center. For the inner corner, there's really only, well, you could use the topper, I guess, if you wanted, but there's really only one color to use, and it's this one up here. Ooh, that is beautiful. What a nice palette. Okay. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this number 4 down here, just for this little area here. Okay. So finally, the palettes all come with kind of a topper shade. And in this case, it's this beautiful iridescent. Come on, focus. There you go. So I'm going to place that over the center. Yeah, that's really pretty. Again, you probably wouldn't normally use all the shades together like this, but it's really beautiful. Okay, so that is Rose Moray. I'm glad I picked that up. I don't have anything that's quite that color story. When I was debating whether to get it, I was thinking, well, you have, what is it, Roxa or whatever from Natasha Denona. You don't wear a lot of like purples, but this one's a really unique purple color story. Shifty. Okay. The one I didn't have to question whether I was going to get it all was the Brown Brocart, I think it's called. And that's mainly because, yeah, Brown Brocart. I saw this topper shade and I was like, this is crazy. So let me go ahead and swatch this one for you on the back of my hand. And this one has 2 metallics, 2 mattes, and a sparkly topper, which I think is probably, you know, the most beneficial. But they're very smooth. And just like with the first one, a lot of pigment. And then there's a really interesting color that is in the center. It could be a topper, it could be all over the lid. So this is this color story. You've got the cream inner corner, then you've got this cooler kind of, I don't know, grayish. You've got a peach and a brown, and then you've got this really interesting kind of duochrome that's got some red and some green in it. Just really interesting. Sure, it's a neutral palette, but it's really well done. So let's do that on the other eye. So what I'm going to do is start with this kind of, let's go ahead and grab those little things and stick them out of here, the little brushes. I'm going to start down here with this kind of satin, and this color is just kind of a peach color. And I'm going to place that through the crease. And I haven't put anything really, I have a little of the Rare Beauty primer, but I just wanted them to show up nice for you. I mean, that's kind of a pretty color. It's a nothing color, but it's pretty if you wanted just a little something. It's great for a transition. Okay, so now on the inner portion, I have this dark chocolatey brown. So let's see how this goes. That is a lot of pigment for Dior. I'm really impressed with, I've never found until these Dior palettes that I liked. And like I said, I swatched those new ones, the Jonathan Anderson inspired collection. And they're back to the formula that's so light and buildable, which, yes, I get that that's great for a certain customer, but I like a lot of pigment. And these are a good amount of pigment. What I was doing there was just removing some excess product from the brush just so I could blend this out a little bit. And while I'm in here, I can grab a little bit of that peachy color and just run it underneath. And a little bit of that brown too. Just to carry it along. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is grab this center shade, which is so beautiful. And I'm actually going to grab it on my finger because I want high impact with this. And I'm going to place this over the bulk of the lid. That is a really pretty shade. It's interesting. It's hard to describe it, but it just has a lot going on with it. You know, a lot of brown palettes, like the Chanel ones that came out last fall, the buttons or whatever. They didn't have a lot of depth in them. But this one is really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and grab this kind of smoky color up here and place that on the inner portion. Oh, that's pretty. That's brighter than I thought it would be. It reminds me of some of the ones that are in this palette. Okay, that's cool. And then for the inner corner, it has this one really light shade up here. So let me grab that. It's a little bit lighter and more reflective than the other one. Wow. These are really nice. Okay, I'm going to pull you out. No. No. There we go. Ignore the laundry again. We're trying. So those are the two, and I also have showed you the blue one in a past video, but the Dior Canage, these are the Rose Moray over here, and the brown brocart over here. I think they look really beautiful. Now, I didn't get a liner, so let me just grab one. There wasn't really a liner part of the sale or something that I was really waiting on. So let me just grab, oh God. I said let me just grab one, and now I'm not going to be able to find one. Okay, you know what? We're just going to grab Pat McGrath black. And so let me do the waterline on these. And actually this will work out really well because I have a new black mascara I wanted to try. Normally I probably would do brown or something lighter. I forget how good the Pat McGrath liners are. I saw that she got a new investor. So I'm really hoping that helps and doesn't, you know, hurt the brand. But so yeah, that looks really nice. Now let me curl my lashes because we have a new mascara to try. And there were a few others I wanted to try, like the Prada, the brown one. It is sold out. When I went yesterday to return something and then to pick up some other stuff, the one that I had, you know, we have a couple in Oklahoma City, but the big one in the mall that has like the more higher end brands, you know, Prada and stuff like that, it was just picked over to death. But the next product we have is a new mascara, and it is the YSL, what is this called? Lash Latex Lengthening Mascara. Now, I love the YSL Lash Clash. It's very dramatic, comes in a lot of different colors. This only comes in one, but I believe this is supposed to give you length. So let's just see what it looks like. got a kind of rubberized foot. Kind of reminds me of the Prada one. I would say at first glance, it's not as dramatic. It's a little more natural looking than the Lash Clash. But it does add a lot of length, where the Lash Clash adds more volume. That reminds me a good deal of the Prada one. So if you like the Prada, I think you'd like this. YSL is really solid. There's a reason Dior, YSL, Armani, Chanel, why they sell so well. I mean, really beautiful. I do wish Chanel was at Sephora, but it's not in the States. It is overseas. And then I thought it was funny. I saw somebody the other day say they wished Victoria Beckham. That's not going to happen. She's made it very clear she has no desire. And I think that's a really good idea because, you know, she still has a little exclusivity. She's only at Bergdorf and Nordstrom and things like that. So, what do we have? I like that. They do look really long. I mean, I have long lashes, but these look really nice and long. Now, I'm going to grab my 04 from Refer. And something that I've been excited to try, which is the new Westman Atelier bronzing cream. So excited that when I bought it on the day the sale started, I accidentally put 3 of these in my cart. So when it came in the mail and there were 3 of them in there, I thought, my lucky day, I have extras for friends or whatever. And then I realized, no, you doofus, you put 3 of them in there and you forgot. So that's what I had to return yesterday. And I used some of that money, because these are pretty pricey, to pick up some other products. Okay, so this is the Sun Tone Bronzing Cream, and this is in Soleil Parfait number 1. And this is a really interesting product. It feels like melted chocolate. Really interesting. It's even wetter and creamier feeling than like the new Prada blushes. So 2 come in the set. One is a little more neutral, and then one is a little bit warmer. I don't know that you necessarily would contour. I guess you could contour with that kind of pinky brown one, but I would still use like my Westman Atelier contour stick. And I probably would just use a mixture of these 2 colors together, because together they look like this. So that's really beautiful. And this is the lightest one. So let's see how it works with this number 4. This is a fluffy brush, but it's dense, but it's not like a Merit brush or something like that that's really dense. So I don't think I'll look crazy. So let's grab the lighter one first. It does pick up well. I'm scared. Wow. That is smooth. I really like the new Victoria Beckham one too. And I've heard the darker one's really nice. That is nice. Now this is the pinkier, lighter shade that was on the left. That's nice. What I'll do is put the other shade on the other side to see if there's any real difference, and then I can kind of even them out. I think that's really pretty. So I'll do this more sort of neutral one over here. It is a little warmer. It's a little deeper too. See if we see any difference. Yeah, this one's got a little more pink in it. You can see right off the bat, this one's also more pigmented than this one. So in theory, it'd probably be one of those situations where you would use them both or kind of layer them. But I'm not going to be able to go back in 2 or 3 times with this shade because it's dark compared to this one. So what I'll do here is just kind of even this out a little bit here. And then put a little of the pinky one on this side. I think that that's how I would normally wear them. I can't get over the texture though. It's really weird. But then when it sets down, it doesn't feel sticky at all. It's a powder. But it is a straight up cream, like a mousse. Really interesting. Huh. And that was one where it did come out a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait for the sale. So let me buff that in a little bit. It works so nicely. Okay, well, while we're on that pudding texture, I grabbed a few more of the Prada blushes. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining about these because of the price and the small nature of the packaging. But here's the thing. If they would have done these in the metal containers, they would have been $90 each, just like the eyeshadows, just like the setting powder, just like the highlighters. And that'd be great for those of us who buy that. But I think that with these, they gave a little bit less, a little bit cheaper packaging. It's a hard plastic, I think, to try to appeal to a younger audience. And even at $40, these are pretty expensive. You're only getting about 3.5 grams, which is on par with what you get. It's actually a little bit more than what you get with like Chantecaille. So, you know, I like them a great deal. I think they're really cool. They have really cool colors, and the texture is really neat. And they stack, so that's cool. There are 8 colors total. I have 5 here. I did not get the darker ones. I figure I'll get them maybe during the fall sale and stick with these lighter ones, although they are heavily pigmented. So just for reference, I'm going to show you the 2 that I had already had, which were, God, these are so creamy. I forget. It really takes you back when you feel these, and like that Westman Atelier. Like, these feel like pudding. These are the 2 that I had. So we have Dahlia, which is very neutral. And this pinkier one here is called Tulip. So Dahlia's on the bottom, Tulip's on the top. Those are the 2 that I had, and I really like them. And it doesn't take very much. So yeah, it is only 3.5 grams, but it doesn't take very much of them. The 3 new ones I picked up, let's see. I have Peach, which is very bold, but beautiful. Kind of more of a corally peach. And then I have Cherry, which is an insane red. Really nice for the summer. And finally, I have Beau, which is a deeper, darker neutral than Dahlia. I wanted to get Water Lily, but they did not have that one. So that's okay. So the first one we have here is Peach. And you can see that's a beautiful color. What the hell is that noise? Then we have Cherry, which is really bold, but these are very forgiving. And finally we have Beau, which is a lot like Dahlia, but a little bit more, it's a little deeper, and it's a little bit warmer. So those are those 5. I think today what we can do is maybe a mix of, I can't show you all three, I would look insane. But what I could do is maybe show you peach and bow. And then we'll try to use the red one in a different video. And either of these, I guess the brown one could go well with that red, but that's okay. So we'll do peach and bow. So what I'm going to do is do bow up a little higher. And I'm going to use that same 04 brush. Let me clean it off. And the reason why is these are almost identical in texture. Almost as if they had a meeting and said, this is what our spring texture is going to be. So let me grab some of that. It even picks up the same. Okay, and we'll put some of that a little up higher. Yeah, that's got a good amount of pigment. I don't know if you're hearing that rattling, but it is driving me bananas. I don't know what that is. It's something in the building. What if there's a basketball game downtown? So I live in Oklahoma City, and you know they take their basketball very serious. These can really be built up crazy. But as you see, even that was a much deeper, darker color, and it blended out really nicely. Now what I'm going to do is do the peach on the higher part of the cheek here. And this was an interesting color. I really like it. It's got a little more coral in it than peach, but it's really beautiful. And I'll put this on the apple part. Okay, that is bold. Okay, that maybe had a little bit of crazy pigment, but you know what you can do if you feel like you're over pigmented, which I think this side in particular looks a little over pigmented. I'm just going to grab my foundation brush and just blend out the edges a little bit. So it might be best on like the peach or the deeper colors to blend it on the back of your hand, because it doesn't look that bad on camera when I look at the camera, but it does look a little crazy right now, but beautiful. And I think that it would blend in really easy. So that is that. Okay, now we have highlighters. I picked up 2 highlighters during the sale, and unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, I knew it. These are not the same color, because I'm not going to pick up 2 highlighters that are identical in color, even though that'd probably be better for you, but I can't, I have to be careful with what I buy. But they are the 2 highlighters everyone seems to be talking about right now, which is the Givenchy Prisma Libre highlighter and the Dior Summer Release, the limited edition highlighter, Jonathan Anderson inspired, with this beautiful packaging. And this one, they're not in the same color. There is a color of the Givenchy that is closer to this color, but I did not pick that up. This is in the color 2 Rose Gold, and the Dior one is in Sunkissed. So there are 4 colors of the Givenchy one. There's only 1 color of the special edition. But this is the color from Givenchy. It's rose gold. You can see it's got a little marbling in there. The marbling doesn't really do anything. It doesn't come across that way on the cheek, but it's really beautiful. And then the Dior one, well, they're going to win packaging, but it is sun-kissed gold. Okay, maybe these are a little bit closer than I thought. They didn't look that way. There's a lighter gold than this. Well, let's see. So the Givenchy, they both have that gel to powder kind of feel. They both feel very luxurious. I think the Givenchy maybe feels a little smoother. Okay, these are really close in color, at least on my fingers. Okay, so let me do a healthy swatch of both. Okay, so on the bottom, I have the Givenchy. Neither one of them have a ton of base color. The Dior has less base color, and the Dior one actually has some sparkle in it. Yeah, it has little particles that are kind of pink sparkle colors, where the Givenchy does not have any visible glitters. It's more of metallic. The Dior's on top, but those are both really beautiful. I'm shocked. I thought that these were not going to be at all the same color, and they are actually fairly close. For better or worse, you know? So let me grab my Rephr fan brush. And, oh, one thing before I do that. I wanted to show you the Dior Sun-Kissed. It feels so nice. Against the new Dior liquid highlighter, which I showed you in a previous video, Sunburst. And typically, if I wasn't showing off new products, I like to wear these layered together when they come out together. But I'll just show you them for color comparison. So on the left here, we have the powder. And over here, we have the liquid. The liquid is a little deeper, a little peachier, but those two would work really well together. Really beautiful. That's a really beautiful highlighter. I know a lot of people have complained about this Dior highlighter. Now, the one thing I did not get were the Dior bronzers that came in that packaging, because why they would ever put a bronzer, first of all, it looked orange, and then second, in a white package. I'm just like, you're just asking for trouble. Like, I'm going to try to keep this as clean as I can, and I certainly am not going to put a bronzer in there. So on this side over here, let's try the Dior. And again, I'm going to use my Rephr 20, which is a fan brush. Normally I would put those two together, but let's see what we get just by itself. Okay, that's pretty. It does have some sparkle, so if you don't like glitters, you may not like it. But it is a really beautiful, like, sun-kissed. Works really well with that peach blush. Yeah, there are tiny sparkles, but I think it looks really beautiful. Now let me clean the brush off and flip it over, and let's look at the Givenchy in rose gold. Am I the only person who has trouble opening Givenchy products? Okay, so let me flip this over. Okay, this seems to be looser. It picks up more product. And it's blingier. That's weird. It seems like it's blingier to me. Well, maybe it's not. You know what it is? I think this one has more of a base. I think the Dior is more of a sparkle, where this has a little bit more of a base to it. Not a ton, but a little bit more. They both are beautiful. Like, look at this. And then look at this. They both are really beautiful. I don't know, which do you like better? I think they both really are nice. They have one, number 4 in this, that is a deep kind of rosy shade. That would actually be beautiful as like a blush topper. Huh. Which do I like better? I like the sparkle and the lack of base on this one. This one has more base, but it doesn't have a lot. Let me work these in a little bit. Yeah. Those are pretty. This one is a little pinkier. And this one, because it does have a little bit more base, does need to be buffed in a little bit more. Okay, so now finishing with the trend of the year so far, which has been all about lips. I picked up some new lip products. So what we have today to show you, some are new, some are not new, they're new to me. I have two of the Violette FR Bisou Balms. I have shade Rose Latte and shade Callison. So let me show you. These are the same thing that's going on right now with Celine and YSL and with these and Louis Vuitton with these matte balmy kind of textures. These are like a lipstick, but they're matte and a little bit balmy. So this is Rose Latte, which is pretty pink. And then this is Callison. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is a more neutral. But they really, when you put them on the lip, and I'll show you with this Callison, they really blur, which is really the trend right now. These matte, very blurring balms. Beautiful. No complaints. Speaking of blurring balms, let's take that off. I picked up two of the new, these are not, they did come out maybe a month and a half ago, but they're new to me because I knew I would wait for the sale. And these are the new Westman Atelier Tinted Hydra Balms. And I picked up two colors. I went in thinking I was going to get two other colors, and then I tried these two, and these were crazy. I really loved particularly one I did not think I would like. The first one I'll show you is the shade Cafe Creme, which is like a 90s brown. And these, you do have to build up a little bit more. It's not instant color, but it's beautiful. Like, look at that shade. This would be good to cool down a lipstick too. These are more like a balm. These remind me more of the Celine ones. I think the Celine ones might be, I don't know. This is the one that surprised me. It's Nectar, and it's a peach with gold in it. And I was like, that sounds like a 90s nightmare. But then when I swatched it, I was like, oh, that's the winner. It has this beautiful rose gold peach that's not like offensively gold, if you can see it up there, but it's like a sheen, almost like a lip gloss. These are really neat. So I'm going to show you this. I think this is the only one maybe that has the gold sparkle in it. The rest of them have nothing. No, you know, just color. And they build. Yeah, I don't think these are as smooth as the Celine, but they're really good. I think the Celine are a little smoother and a little more hard pressed. These are a little softer, but look at that. That's a really beautiful color. Okay, and you could pair that with like a biscuit liner from Westman Atelier. Now take this off. Am I going to have any lips left? The last thing I got, and I was really surprised that these they're completely sold out. In fact, I think there might be one pink color that's come back in stock, but I don't know why these have sold out so quick. Typically, Gucci is a little under the radar, but these are the new Gucci. What are they called? I need a magnifying glass. They're the Gucci lip tints. And I picked up 2 colors. I'd like to get more, but they sold out so quick. I have, what are they? Shade 226 and shade 130. So let me show you 226. People have complained a little bit about the packaging. I don't really, the applicator is plastic, but this feels really nice. And I think it looks really beautiful and chic. I don't know what that's about. So this is 226. And let me see what that color is for you. Let's see. I wish that they, and I hadn't had a chance to, I label everything, but I hadn't had a chance to label those. Okay, here we go. A few details. Okay, so 226 is Emma Rose Dust. That sounds like a stripper. Really beautiful. The other one is Elsa Hazel, and it is 130. So, and it's a little bit warmer and a little lighter, but you can see why I would probably want to get like an orange or a pink too, but they are really beautiful. Now, when you look at them on, they're crazy. They are really beautiful wet lip glosses, but they leave behind a tint, but they might be my favorite gloss. Like, they feel so nice on. Let's do the Rosewood one. This is the only thing that's a little cheap, is the applicator's plastic, but they have an orange that looks really interesting. And it was my queen, Alicia Archer, that got me onto these, because I wasn't even really aware of them. They remind me a little bit. They are fragrance, so you do want to be careful with that, but it dissipates. They remind me a little bit of the Kosas lip tints, except these are even better. These are more hydrating. They're a little shinier. That's a pretty color. And you can wear them just like this, and they're very glossy and pretty, or if you leave them on for a minute or two, you can remove them and just have the color, and it lasts. So yeah, this is interesting. We have the 2 from Violette down here, all different formats, formulas. Then we have these 2 balms from Westman Atelier, and then these 2 from Gucci. Really beautiful. It's so comfortable. Now, the difference, of course, is that the Kosas ones are, half the price. But I think these feel really nice on. They feel nice on, too. I mean, it just really depends. I just feel like these have an interesting texture. Now, let's see if... I'll just use my towel, but I'll use it gently. How much color it leaves. That's a good amount of color. The shine is gone, but the color's still there. So, I begrudgingly cut my ear off, but made a Sephora sale video. Whether or not you think it is over the top or crazy to do that kind of sharing, I hope it's not, and I hope you found it helpful. And, maybe you enjoyed spending a little time together. If you like this kind of content, then please consider liking, subscribing, follow along, shopping my links, and all that goodness. We'll have another Sephora sale coming in October, November, so get ready. But beautiful products, really surprised. Love the highlighters, blushes I already knew were beautiful. like that. I really love that West Atelier cream bronzer, and all the lips really interesting. So thanks everyone. Bye.